Welcome to Tusks and Tales, a place where every hunt becomes a story worth telling. From the first track on the ground to the last echo of a hound's voice, every moment holds meaning. Together, we'll explore the hunts that formed us, the dogs that inspire us, and the stories that keep our community strong. These are the tales that keep the fire burning. Hello, y'all. Welcome to Tusks and Tales. Here we are again. Guys, this guy that is coming on now, y'all, I'm telling you, there's a huge reason why I asked this guy to come on. When I talk about passionate about something, this gentleman, I think, is the closest to me, personally, what I've done my research on him, is the most close to passionate as I am. Of course, I've done my research on him. I don't really want to spill anything ahead of time, but I'm going to have to. He's done videos. I think I could be wrong, but he was like one of the first to really actually take recording on for hog hunting with dogs. Like a professional side of it, not just a couple videos here and there. This gentleman, man, I'm telling y'all, I have talked to him one-on-one, and I mean for a very long time. Not days or nothing, but I mean we sat down and talked for hours. We didn't sit down; we was bullshitting in his tent. But he's a great guy. He informed me of a lot of stuff that I'm going to let him cover in here. And I'm telling you, if you do the research like I do, and you're wanting some quality stuff, I'm not going to give it away, but I'm assuming y'all are going down or starting to figure out where I'm going with this. This is the guy you have got to reach out to, guys. I'm telling you. I'm gonna start it out. I'm gonna let him introduce himself, and we'll cover some of those topics. And this is gonna be a great one, guys, especially with y'all that are reaching out regarding equipment. You cannot beat anybody. I'm telling you, this gentleman will answer his personal phone to talk to you. With all that being said, Mr. Michael, do you mind introducing yourself? Telling them kind of what you're with a little bit, and then we'll go into the other little topics here in a little bit. But I want you to introduce yourself and kind of tell them, what you're with.
Yeah, my name is Michael Spiehler. We're known as Hardcore Hog Dogs. We run the largest hog dog supply store in the world, which is hardcorehogdogs.com. We sell hardcore cut gear, of course. We also run a company called True Woods Video and Outdoor Outcast Apparel, which are some smaller companies we mess with.
Okay. Yeah, so y'all, you know how I am with my hardcore cut gear. This is the gentleman. I've covered it in previous podcasts, guys. I'm telling you, I've talked to this man one-on-one, told him exactly what I wanted, how I wanted it made. He had drawings for me like within a few days, and I told him, I said, hey, I got a tournament coming up. I'm not saying he's going to do this for everybody, and I'll let him cover that here in a little bit. And I'm not saying I'm anybody special, because by no means am I that, but I talked to him ahead of time and kind of told him what I was looking for. Now, this man, I'm telling you, took care of me and got me set up right. Exactly what I wanted, guys. I have put some dogs on, and I've shared the hogs that they've been on with some teeth. And man, his gear is, I can't give it enough credit. I'm telling you, I still got a catch vest. And I think it's got maybe one little tiny nick in it on the top layer. And y'all have seen, and I mean, granted, I did change up my catch dog, so I'm not trying to say that it's, I guess, indestructible. But, I'm sure it'll have its moments. Now, nothing negative on my side that I have got to say about it, period. Cut collars, man, are running great. I've got the catch vest. We'll cover all that. I've got bay vests, I got cut collars, and everything that I have got from Mr. Michael has been 100%, guys, listen, 100% custom made from this man. I messaged him myself and spoke with him directly. There was no middleman. There wasn't no sales rep that answered and said, sorry, we're going to have to get you in touch. Nothing. This man gave me every bit of information I needed, guys, and it was out of this world. If you're not a big name hunter, I don't see where else you can get that. I'm not talking bad on anybody else. I don't want to say anything wrong, but I don't think if you have any credit out there, there's really anybody else you can talk to get that kind of help. But this man right here will help you. Now, I wanted to cover that and give him the credit that is deserved because this guy helped me out in a very short amount of time. Now, Mr. Michael, let's go into your dogs a little bit right away, and then we'll kind of cut back into your to the hardcore hog dogs and everything you got going on. Do you mind kind of telling everybody what kind of dogs you run, and be a little bit specific about it?
Yeah, so I'll start off and then I'll be specific. I'll start off saying exactly what you didn't want me to say, which is a glorified mutt. But what we've done a few things, and we failed at a few things too. To go back, way back, I'm 46 years old. I was real lucky, really, really lucky in life. And why I say that is I had a grandpa that had 100 plus running dogs, July running walkers, fox and deer dogs.
Okay.
And then I had, my father was one of the bigger pit bull men in the world. Anything with pit bull he loved. And weight pulling, hog catches, confirmation, you name it, he loved it. And then on my mom had some of the top search dogs in the U.S. for years and still has search dogs. So I kind of grew up around multiple types of high-end dogs. I'm not saying they were the best, but high-end dogs, top 10% dogs. But not necessarily in the hog world, if that makes sense.
Oh, yes.
But I was exposed to a lot of that and of course grew that love for dogs and hunting dogs and working dogs in general. I don't care if it's a weight pull dog, a deer dog, a rabbit dog. We flew to California and we flew to West Virginia just to watch other people's bear dogs run. So yeah, got a big love for that. But when I was a little kid, my dad hog hunted, and it just got to the land, our land, because we're close to New Orleans, it's gotten smaller and smaller, so he got out of it. And when I was 16, I got into it, started driving. I wanted to get back into it. And, goes back to a 16-year-old trying to get into it. I've heard your conversation on your other podcast, was fighting the same problems everybody else is,
Yes.
Somebody to go with. We found 2 junk cur dogs and done what we could with them. Now keep in mind, I was exposed to walker dogs that would run 30 hours.
Oh, wow.
So when we started messing with these straight cur dogs, and these weren't good bred cur dogs, these were we're 16-year-old kids, they're what we could get. We messed with them for months, and they'd run a hog 30 minutes and quit it. It made no sense. But we kept on going. A friend of my dad's helped us out. And to make a long story straight, if I had to put a specific breed on my dogs, and it's more than this, but it's basically what I like is a quarter to 3/8 running dog, which is a Walker Hound or July, with the rest of it being a well-bred cur dog. And when I say well-bred, I don't mean papered. I mean out of hunting stock from older people that's been doing it for 40, 50 years, if that makes sense.
Oh, yes, sir, 100%.
I don't care what they look like. I don't care how ugly they are, how pretty they are. All I care is how often they get baked. So yeah, to answer your question, that quarter to 3/8 for how I like to hunt for the amount of hogs we have is that fine balance between keeping them as quiet as possible, maybe not 100% quiet, but giving them as much drive as possible. And with that being said, my last 2 litters are at about an 1/8 running hound, which isn't enough for me. They've got some good things they do, but like I said, that 3/8 I really, really like.
And how long would you roughly say it took you to I mean, years-wise, newcomers coming in and even seasoned guys, how many years would you roughly say it took you to come up with that decision? Not just the lines, not how long it took you to bred them, but to make up your mind that's what you wanted.
So, honestly, I had it figured out in probably 8 years, and I didn't know I had it figured out, if that makes sense. Yeah. So you're always chasing. You're always chasing something. A little more bottom, a little tighter mouth, a little more hunt, a little more cast. No matter what you got, you're always chasing something else. So what you have to be careful, really careful, is when you chase that one thing, not to lose nothing, and you will. And going back to my earlier conversation, we got to chasing a little thing in these last 2 litters and lost a little. And like I said, dogs find lots of hogs and stuff, but there was a group of dogs when I had them at that quarter, between that half and quarter, that were super nice dogs, and produced a lot of hogs, and we won a lot of tournaments with them.
Well,
and you want to be where you can. You get a lot of people that catch hogs where they live, and they're comfortable with that, and they think that's the only way to hunt. And I was one of them. It was when I was a teenager in early 20s. But when those videos took off and we started traveling, you start hunting with other people, and you might not hunt exactly how they do, but you might pick up a part of how this guy hunts, and a part of how you hunt, and a part of how this guy hunts. And over years, you just start moving that around to best suit you. And when we was young, and we run rough dogs. If a dog gets rough now, I get rid of it. So even the way I hunt has changed over the last 20 years. When I was young, I wanted to catch every single hog that I come across. And the easiest way to do that is with rough dogs, because if you find them, you catch them. Mm-hmm. As I get older, it becomes more about sport. It becomes more about making dogs. It becomes more about doing it the hard way to get what I think is the best dog, not necessarily everybody else, but what I think is the best dog for me.
Okay, I mean, yeah, I noticed a couple things in there that we talked about that you mentioned that I do like, and that I would like to have a little discussion with you about. Is, you said you're liking a little bit more tight mouth, kind of more quiet. And guys, for reference, he's talking about, especially the new guys, a couple have asked me for the slang in the hog world. We have people from all over the nation in different countries right now, and they might not know literally anything we're talking about right now. So just to cover a little bit of the slang that he was talking bottom-wise, and correct me if I'm wrong on any of these, Mr. Michael, you can interrupt me, whatever, but he says bottom. That means he's talking more distance, actually sticking out a race on a hog and finishing it out. He just said tight mouth, more quiet maybe. I wouldn't necessarily say it's completely silent up until it's looking at it. He can correct me on that one.
Yeah, there's different variations, and when you get in the bottom, what I call a lot of bottom and you call a lot of bottom might be two different things. So any of these things are really subjective to people.
Yeah.
I see people call dogs that go 800 yards a mile long range.
Yeah.
And we're talking about hunting, not necessarily running a track, but or casting. I mean, anything under 800 yards is not what I'm looking for. But that also depends on the piece of property you got to hunt. When we go to Texas, especially South Texas, cornfields and stuff, those guys get aggravated with us sometimes because the dogs run hogs too long. They can jump to another field and catch more hogs.
Yeah.
And in the end, we spend too much time running one hog. They go catch 5 or 6. So who's smarter? Number wise, I guess they are. But once again, I'm trying to build a dog where I can travel. We do a lot of traveling and hunt a lot of different states. So you're trying to build a dog that can kind of go anywhere and maybe not be the best, but be productive.
Yeah, so big thing you mentioned in there, and I try to cover this with a lot of people. I've been called all sorts of names under the sun, retarded and stuff by these other people that they look up to because they say I don't try to catch numbers, that I target size, and I'm targeting. That's what I do. I'm targeting the bigger hogs. And they say you're retarded. You're not a real hog hunter. You don't really catch hogs if that's all you're trying to do. You're in it for the wrong reasons. All these things I've heard. And I'm not trying to give some sob story, but I'm not.
The thing is, it's all opinions.
Yes.
What are you trying to do? Are you doing it for the sport? Are you doing it to eradicate? What are you doing? If you're in farmland, you've got to eradicate. You've got to.
Yeah.
If you're in pine trees, there's a lot of every place is different. And one thing I think people make a mistake. Like I said, they hunt one area and they think that's the only way to do it. Mm-hmm. There's a reason people use so many different types of dogs. There's a reason we make 35 different cut vests because people like 35. That's stock models. Yeah. We do that because that's how many different opinions there is on what type of is the cut vest. And, I can tell you what worked best for me, but we have to make 35 to cover everybody. And, when I was younger, once again, I wanted to catch everything. And as I got older, it got to be more about the sport. And if you say you're catching big hogs, to me, that's about the sport. That's about the challenge. Big hogs a lot of time, not all the time, but big hogs they got big for a reason. If the spot's hunted heavily. So a lot of times they're going to be the harder ones to catch. So, if you can catch those bigger hogs, you're being sporting about it. I would say in your mind, or at least in my mind, you're trying to do something that's hard. Somebody hunts open country versus thick country, that's two different types of ways to hunt. Mm-hmm. And I've got some friends that run track dogs, and they have to because there's not many hogs. And when they hang a track, they have to stay with it. Yeah. So their dogs are keyed a lot more to nose than mine are. They don't do a lot of casting. They do a lot of looking around, finding tracks, and they catch a lot. They don't catch a lot of hogs, not a lot at all, but they catch some gorillas. Yeah. But that's how they hunt. And so there's, as long as you do it ethical, there's no wrong way to do it. Especially, like I said, when you travel, I really think everybody should go to multiple states and hunt with multiple people multiple times, because you start to realize how many different ways to do it, how good people some got it, how bad some people's got it, but all still love the same thing. And like I said, the more you can travel, I recommend that to anybody.
So okay, I'm glad you're on that, because I got this question. I'm going to jump in, even if you got a little bit more to say. I'm sorry. I love that you mentioned that. Different state. Please tell everybody the different states that you have hunted. I know you're covering it, saying you believe people should hunt multiple times in different states, kind of get a feeling for it. But can you please cover the states that you have hunted, and maybe tell them, what is the harder terrain, where the harder state is. I know everybody's got a but I want to hear your opinion. I don't want to hear what I believe this one would be worse. I want to hear your exact opinion on where you believe the hardest hunting is and why, but also include all the states that you've hunted, or the areas, period.
We've been pretty much everywhere. We've been to every corner of Texas. We've been to New Mexico, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina. It's pretty much every what I call hog hunting state. Yes, there is hogs in Kentucky. We send a lot of gear to Kentucky. That's probably the only one I haven't been to. And Hawaii, of course. But so far as toughness, they all got tough areas, and far east Texas is a whole lot different than hunting central Texas or west Texas or south Texas. Yeah. The best hunting I've done, and it's kind of changed because of it's kind of changed because of night vision. Night vision really threw a kink in a lot of good areas, because the best areas were the open areas, and that's also where the night vision has the best effect. Central Florida was probably some of the best hunting I've had. Those were some 30, 40 hog a day hunts.
Guys, 30 to 40 hogs a day. This is why I bring these reputable people to talk to.
Central and Hill Country, Texas was really nice, and they had size, especially in Central Texas. That's where we used to tournament hunt a lot. And West Texas is pretty nice too. Anywhere where there's marshland, Louisiana, Florida, South Carolina, marshland is always good hunting, especially if you got an airboat.
Yeah, you can catch unlimited amount of hogs.
Yeah. The hardest country is kind of what I call that central Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and it may go into Georgia a little, but it's a lot of pine regrowths, and it's the hog numbers get low on some of those places, and it is incredibly thick. I've been to a lot of places that were called thick, but those areas, when you get into, it might be one block with a road around it that's 1,000 acres, and it's briar thickets from one end to the other. Those guys have some tough hunting, and you'll like I said, what really hurts it is they don't always have the hog numbers, so they don't. It's not just, okay, we lost this one, let's go run another one. That might be the only group of hogs they had on the property. So you'll see those guys running a lot of colder nose stuff. Be willing to put in all day trying to get that one hog.
Okay. No, I mean, I like that answer, and I think, to be honest with you, out of everybody I've asked, and no offense to anybody that's been on the podcast already, that's probably one of the best answers I've got. That's just me being honest.
We got really lucky. I mean, when those videos took off, we got invited to a lot of places. We only got to go to probably 1% of them. Mm-hmm. But man, we've met so many great people, and got to hunt some incredible places that nobody else got to hunt. We got to hunt some of those plantations up and down the Savannah River that was unreal. There was a place in Columbia we hunted. We lost count at 40 hogs that day.
In what state is that in? I'm sorry.
That's South Carolina.
That's awesome. Wow.
That was an unreal hunt, but it was a place that they wouldn't let people on. It was wide open river bottom, and we was hunting a tournament. We had 4 guys with each of us probably 8 to 10 finished dogs. So we showed up with roughly 35 to 40 finished dogs, and we bait hogs from daylight to dark, and they were dumb. It wasn't that the dogs were that good. Them hogs just had not been messed with, and they were dumb.
Yeah, that makes a huge difference. Besides, whether you're running pressured hogs and
night and day difference. Evie, I've got land I manage here, and just the difference between those hogs in February, March to August and September is night and day difference. Same hogs, just being pressured through the summer.
Wow. I like that. I do like that you covered that too. Because a lot of people, they could have some of the easiest hunting territory around. Like easiest. There's a abundance of hogs. There's a lot of hogs. You're getting them on camera all the time, but you're bringing people out and they're like, man, I can't ever stop a hog. Well, it's so pressured that these hogs are smelling them dogs before they even get dropped out the box or before they even rig, and they're already cutting out, and they know a little pattern to go to kind of get away from them. And if I'm wrong, you can correct me on that.
No. And what's funny, we've been hunting this place for years, and the hogs, it ain't even the same hogs, but they run the same patterns. Mm-hmm. And they run to the same areas, to places we can't get to or don't have access to. They know it. Like I said, if they make it to a decent age, there's a reason why.
Yeah. No, I mean, I get it. I do 100%. So like in those situations, you know, of course you mentioned you had multiple finished dogs, 8 to 10. Let's cover that real quick. I covered it with some previous people, and everybody has a different opinion on it, and that's what I want to hear mainly for these new guys are loving that question. By the way, the finished versus, and I threw this little spill in there about seasoned level, you know, or started. A lot of people have never referred to a dog as seasoned, I guess, but people have been liking that because might give a new outlook on the type of dog they could potentially be buying. So say there's a guy that's still going out there and buying dogs on Facebook, even though we've covered that 150 times. I would like for you to cover it yourself. You don't have to get into the Facebook spiel. I think everybody's starting to understand that route. But if you don't mind maybe explaining what's your definition of a started dog, a seasoned-ish level dog, and a finished, because I got people saying there's no finished dogs because they're not finished till they're in the ground. Can you kind of give your definition of all three of those?
Yeah, so really, they're kind of right. Finished is the worst term you could use. Dogs are drastically improving until they get 5, and even then they're getting better. So, you know, saying I got a 3-year-old finished dog is not the best term. So I would call a started dog is a puppy, and I call anything under 2 a puppy. A lot of people say 1 and under. But a 2-year-old or under that I can take to the woods by itself, and he can strike and run hogs. And not run hogs for 100 yards. Run hogs, you know, at least a mile. That's a started dog. Season is actually, I heard you say that on another podcast. I think that's a way better term, to be honest with you.
Yes, sir.
A seasoned dog would be that dog that you don't even have to. So we kind of run our young dogs during the week. If I can slip off, I run my young dogs in pairs of 2s by themselves. Then on the weekend, I run them with the older dog to help drag them farther, if that makes sense.
I like that. I do.
So that finished dog, I mean, or seasoned dog, like I said, I like that term way better, is something that's all I need. If I can get rid of every dog, or, you know, and that he's ready to go, then we're going to get into definitions and our definition of how far he should run it, how long he should stay with the track, how far he should cast. That's going to change from person to person. But, you know, like I said, I need to be able to take him to 90% of properties and him run bay and get hogs bayed. That would be a finished dog or a well-seasoned dog.
Okay.
And I'll add a term to you. It's kind of a joke between us, but we have what we call a +2 dog, which I've only would give 2 dogs out of thousands. It's not named, but a +2 dog is a dog you can take any property. You can't compare how many you can't compare how many hogs people catch to how many hogs you catch. We can't compare that. We don't hunt the same properties.
Yeah.
So a +2 dog is a joke we have. If I'm going to your property in a place where you normally catch 1 hog on average, sometimes you catch 3, sometimes you catch 0, but let's just say the average is 1. When you take a +2 dog there, you catch 3. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
If you go to a place where you catch 20 hogs, you catch with good dogs, you catch 22. You're happy with 20, but with that other dog, the ones that slip away, he manages to find ways to get them bayed.
So you referred to that, as a +2, right?
Yeah, it's a made up term. It means nothing. It's just a joke between a few of us that hunt and breed together.
I like that.
You know, you could call that an elite dog. I've heard of a lot of elite dogs. I've seen 2 elite dogs in my life.
I really do like that. I do. I mean, I just love it. So when you refer to that elite dog, let me ask you this. Sorry, did you have any more? I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No,
I was sitting here thinking and contemplating. I was like, man, that sounds pretty cool. Now, when you refer to that elite dog, let me ask you this. Now, is that dog 100% capable on its own to rig, drop on a track, free cast, go out? It's going to find a hog every single time. Well, okay, let's say you're 90% of the time. I'm not gonna create a god dog.
So those elite dogs found hogs 99.99% of the time. When you went to places that people said, "Oh, you can't catch hogs here," you unloaded them.
Okay.
I don't have one of them right now. Been trying to breed for them for years since I lost the one that I did have. But those dogs were special. They're what we once in a lifetime dogs. They have the ability to make hogs, and they just, it seems like they make them.
Yeah.
And if you've never been around one, you just can, like I said, they're addictive when you get around one.
See, I like that. Now, what I was kind of going, and I mean, I like how you answered that, but I got a little bit more of a question towards that. Now, I've had a lot of people that are like, I have a dog that can do it all on its own, 100%. I can drop it on a track, I can rig it, I can free cast it. It's gonna find a hog. Not only is it gonna find the hog, but it's gonna hold the bay for however long I need it to. I in my opinion, and I'm, by the way, guys, telling everybody again, I'm new to this. That's kind of rare. That's setting the bar pretty damn high. Now, is that what you're saying?
It is rare. That's why out of thousands and thousands of dogs I've seen too.
Yeah.
And hunting with a dog one time, sometimes it's hard to get a real judge about it. But yeah. I don't know. I kind of break dogs into 10 categories or 10 traits. And we'll get in that more when you talk about breeding, but yeah. I pay attention to how they cast, how they hunt, how they bay. Brains or intelligence is probably the most underrated trait that people do not pay attention to. How consistent they are. Bottom we talked about, how cold their nose is, how fast they are, how they relay, and then, closed or open mouth. Yeah. Most dogs, so there's a few things about that you're going to have. If you list all those, there's going to be 3 or 4 of those that are more important to the way you hunt. There's going to be 3 or 4 or 5 of those that's going to be important to the way I hunt. And so your dogs are going to be tailored to those traits more than the other traits. But yeah, those dogs I'm talking about had a high number of those traits and done them then you get into different levels of those traits so they done them at a high level also.
Let's jump into that while we're here. Now, I'm assuming you heard it if you listen to the Mr. Kenneth and I. I know y'all are buddies and y'all talk quite often, so maybe if you did hear out what I asked him, I think it was him. Now, I hear a lot of people, and gosh dang, I feel like it's just you and I talking. I'm not even worried about the podcast at this point. Sorry, guys, but I'm learning right now, and I'm loving it. I just wanted to interrupt you when you were talking about the breeding traits so bad. You're like, I know we'll get to it, but I got to have the answer now. You mentioned 10 of them. That's kind of like my 12. I have a whole book set aside, and I call it the 12-12-12. I'm not going to get into mine yet. That's a future plan. But the way you said, this is what I talk about, guys, with the passion. This guy has, the only person I can compare that has passion like this is this gentleman. Now, you say the 10. When you're breeding a dog, breeding traits, I don't want to jump too far, and correct you answer it however you want, but I hear a lot of people that go, I'm breeding the best of the best. I covered that. And majority of the time, they're like, well, it didn't have this, but something else had this. but I didn't. I decided not to breed to it. So that dog had 3 out of 5 traits they look for. We're talking somebody who's necessarily new to this, trying to start breeding. We're not going to go to 10 or my 12 that I'm looking at, even though I'm only a year and a half in it. I'm looking for specific things. But 3 out of 5, and then there's a dog out there that has 2 out of 5. But you're saying you're breeding the best of the best, but that dog is still missing 2 of those traits.
So when you're first into it, I think you have to breed to the best of the best because you're probably not going to have access to all those traits. As you get into it deeper, you should get more specific to how you like to hunt. So, for example, I pull up to a spot, I turn my dogs loose, I don't walk them. They have to cast. That is a deal breaker for me. And then they have to cast. When they're young, I want them casting 400. You know, I've got some older females that when you turn them loose, they don't come back. You go catch them. And so I'm paying attention to cast. I'm paying attention to how they hunt. You want to make sure they're just not blowing through. It don't matter if they go 2 miles if they run it wide open. You know, they have to hunt their way through that area. Another thing, and this is probably, you get a lot of complaints about hogs running, and hogs do run twice as bad as they did 20 years ago. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah,
There's more
a lot of people have said that. Yes,
they're killing them. The ones at bay get killed. So we're breeding them to run more. Mm-hmm. With that being said, I've watched tens of thousands of hours of bay footage. I've got hundreds of tapes from us filming, and we would film them hogs sometimes 2 hours, chasing them around trying to get the footage. When we made videos, and we wasn't the first one that made a video, I heard you say earlier, but we was the first ones that showed intense bay and catch footage. And our rule of thumb, we could get 20 minutes of the best bay footage you ever. If he moved and we didn't see the catch dog hit, that was trash. Now, big mistakes, and I should have been posting all that on YouTube, but I didn't understand. This was 20 years ago. They didn't have TikTok or Instagram. You had MySpace and YouTube. Our first release on YouTube done 6 million views.
Oh wow! I did not know that.
But we had no idea what we was doing, and I had no idea. We was just selling DVDs and making money. We were 20-year-olds, and I done it for the dogs. I wanted to show the dogs work. We actually got complaints because we didn't talk enough, but we just wanted to show bays with an awesome catch. But anyway, getting back to my point, a lot of dogs push dogs. They make casting.
Hold on. You're cutting out really bad. Like you just lost service. Hello? Alright, guys. I'm sorry. Hold on.
Can you hear me?
Oh, I got him back. I got you. You still there?
Yeah.
Oh, you're cutting out still.
So, can you hear me?
Yep, I got you perfect now.
So what I was saying, there's a lot of dogs that do a lot of these traits, but they push hogs when they bay. We call them bay breakers. We start noticing it in videos. You'd have and I'm not talking about a running hog and you're stopping him. I'm talking about a set-up hog. And that dog goes in there and takes what we call cheap shots. Well, when you're hunting a place where hogs run, you get bay him in his bed, that's a lot of times your best chance to catch him. Or you're going to run him for hours. So a cheap shot there pushes any breaks, you're going to run for hours. Well, if the dogs bay right, and that's, you can argue on what's right, but if they bay, I found we have a rule of thumb. If you're going to bite on him when he's facing you, catch him. Or bay him. Don't go in there and take cheap shots. So I think people really sometimes should pay attention to how their dogs bay, how many dogs they run, because that will change how their dogs bay. And we run a lot of 2s and 3s unless we're tournament hunting, then we change up, and we change our hunting a good bit when we tournament hunt. But like I said, And then another overlooked thing is intelligence. I think a lot of the best dogs I've seen, the top end dogs, the top 10 or 15 dogs I've seen, had a few of those traits, but they just were smart dogs and had a knack for getting bayed. They could figure out stuff when a lot of dogs couldn't, and get it straightened out and go with it. And like I said, speed, I like speed. It's not a must in my dogs, but I sure do like it. And they definitely need to relay.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think I enjoyed everything you were just telling me there. I was sitting here. I'm not going to lie, guys. I have no interest in. I'm going to re-listen to this podcast to make sure I covered everything, but that's how I do my research. I'm sitting here writing down little notes from them. And if you're not, then I'm not saying it's wrong, but I'm writing down these notes because this is something that I would like to have in my back pocket for future use. I'm learning from somebody that I've wanted to learn from, and unfortunately, I'm really getting all this information in the middle of a podcast, but I'm writing down my own notes. So I'm sorry, guys. I'm listening to them, and then I'm trying to finish writing. So, Mr. Michael, like I agree with everything you said. I like it. I think it's going to be very helpful in the future. Now, would you consider if you were down, say you were having some issues with some dogs, you were down to, say, out of those 10 traits, you only had like 7 of them, and you didn't have access to have all 10 of 10, and then maybe you're
chances are you're not. I'm talking about at a high level.
Okay.
You're not going to have all 10. You're going to be lucky to have 5.
Okay.
Let's be honest about dogs.
Yeah, that answers it real quick then. Okay, never mind then.
So you have to pick out the ones that are most important to the way you hunt.
Yeah.
And like I said, that's going to be cast. That's going to be how they bay. That's going to be intelligence. Bottom's always a good one. And like I said, I prefer closed mouth dogs. But in the end, I've seen people get rid of good open mouth dogs, closed mouth dog. It makes no sense.
Can we get on that? I mean, can we talk about that a little bit?
Yeah.
Let's jump on that. Let's go way deep down into that rabbit hole. I'm down to sit on that for a while.
So it
quiet
only
versus
matters.
Open.
So in the end, the only thing that matters is how often they get bait. That's all that matters.
Before we get too deep, though, can you please cover? I don't mean to interrupt, but I got to make sure you cover babbling, or I guess not necessarily babbling, but jumping straight out and just opening wide open, versus what your definition of a true open dog is. Let's cover that for everybody, because you got new people that they got a dog that are opening up 300 yards away, and they're like, gosh damn it, it's a piece of shit. Can you please cover that in this?
So what we call babbling, especially from the old fox dog stuff, is when you turn them loose, they bark running off. That's a no-no. That's a no-no even with open mouth guys. Then there's dogs that when they smell something, they open. Then there's dogs that once they base something and it breaks and runs, they open. And then there's the true closed mouth dog that only barks when he's looking at it.
Thank you.
So most of mine are, very few are true closed mouth. Mine find the hog closed mouth. When he breaks and runs, they will open, because I've got hound crossed in them. They will open, as long as you keep them hunted, they'll typically stay closed. But if you get to sitting them up some, they'll open at different variations. It may be every 200 yards, every 300 yards. Like I said, the more you run them, the more they'll tighten their mouth up. I've run a lot of people that says it does not matter. It does on the same quality of dog. And I'll tell you a quick story. And it's one of the stories where it convinced me of it. I had a male dog named Jim. And anybody in this country knows about that dog from 10 years ago. He was one of the elite dogs I talk about. But Jim had a lot of treeing and running walker mixed into him. And if you sat him up, he would open. Jim was also one of the smartest dogs I've ever met, he understood how to figure out tracks and stuff. Jim, especially as he got older, got to opening more, but he knew, I don't know how he knew, but I could yell at him and tell him to shut up, and he would shut up on track. That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh, wow.
So there's this dog, you've been running for an hour, you get within 200 yards of him, 100 yards of him where he can hear you good, and you could yell at him to shut up. He would shut up and start running that thing closed mouth. And, I've got people who can verify that. Within 30 minutes, that hog would be bayed every single time.
Yeah, that's some respect. But
it's the same, and the reason that's the same dog running open and closed. Yeah. But what people try to do too much time is compare different quality dogs. A good open mouth dog will bay lots and lots of hogs, plain and simple. Especially if he's got speed. Rule of thumb: the more you bark, the faster you need to be, or the colder nose you better have. But the more you bark for me, the faster you better be. If you can push him and pump the air out of him, you can get away with a lot more barking. And another thing, people say, well, these run no matter what, or these bay no matter what. I'm making up numbers, but 40% of hogs, or 45% of hogs are going to run no matter what. 45% are going to bay. It's that 10% in the middle that sometimes you can get with a good closed mouth dog faster. Mm-hmm. On them other 90%, probably doesn't matter. You just need a good dog. The amount of hogs matters too, but that comes down to nose. We're lucky. We have a fair amount of hogs, and like I said, I get to travel a lot, so a cold nose is not the most important to me, but there is a lot of guys that is, and I understand why. But the country we hunt, if them dogs are cast and make loops and work, you're going to come up with hogs. Yeah.
No, I mean, I like the answer. I do. I'm sitting here just, I'm loving everything we're talking about, because it's kind of, if it's not helping y'all, then you necessarily don't need taught anything, guys. I'm liking everything he's talking about. I feel like we're covering a lot of really good topics now. We mentioned earlier a little bit about rough dogs, and because we're already on the silent and open, we covered that a little bit. Now, and open and silent dogs both can be rough or good bay dogs. Do you mind covering a little bit into the rough versus a looser baying dog, as in how many you should really keep on your yard if you're running true rough dogs?
So we used to run rough dogs, and it's by far the most effective way, because, like I said, once you find him, you catch him. You cut out the middle part. I don't run rough dogs except for when I run tournaments. There will be one or two rough dogs, and around if we need them. Especially.
Hold on, you're cutting out again. Sorry. Hello.
Yeah, you hear me?
Yep, I got you. All right.
Where'd I lose you at? Where'd you lose?
Right there. You said right once you enter tournaments, you'll have two.
I like to have a few when we run a tournament, because especially if you're running cameras, because if he's at the camera, you just send the rough dogs down there and snag him. You can cut out some of that time loss, but like I said, when we hunt regular, it's more about the sport and trying to make the best dog, or not maybe the best dog, but try to do it the hardest or most sporting way. And the hardest thing to do is running and convincing the bay or making bay, and then, heck, that's the hardest part, going in there and catching him. with good catch dogs, you're gonna see most of the time. So I've got where I really like to, and this is just personal preference. It's nice to listen to a good bay with 3 or 4 dogs. It's just hammering on that thing. It's and you see a lot of videos we post now just on social media. Is hey, we go up there and watch them bay and catch them eventually, but we try to let them young dogs work and enjoy it more.
Okay, I mean, yeah, that's respectful, of course. While we're on that rough subject, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
No, you're cutting out again a little bit. Hello? Cutting out just a little bit.
I don't know why.
Oh, there you go. Now you're good again.
Yeah, I was going to tell you another thing that we found a little different than a lot of people say. A lot of people say rough dogs get cut down more, and that maybe one rough dog does. But when we run a bunch of rough dogs, we run vest on them.
That's where I was going with this.
Those dogs never got cut because they stretch that thing 4 different ways. And when he ain't got no legs, it's hard. When his legs are pulled out, it's hard for him to cut stuff. So we actually had really good luck when we run rough dogs, but we had some rough ones. And when, we had some that never barked and we had some that would bark, but as soon as one piled in, they'd all pile in, and when they committed, they committed. Like I said, the worst thing you can do is catch and let go.
Yeah, 100%, especially if it's your bulldog. But
that's enough. That's not allowed at all.
Yeah, no, and we'll touch on that. We might touch on it on this one. I might have to bother you again for another night in the future, and we can touch on that. But while we're on the getting cut down stuff, it brings me to what I really am excited for you to talk about. Now, we've covered a lot in the dogs, guys. I really want him to cover his cut gear and his quality of it and kind of get into detail about it like you did me. Somebody might be out there trying to figure out, like, hey, this is what I need. If y'all are wanting quality, straight quality, I'm telling y'all, this is the man to get in touch with. He's taking care of me. Quality is what I would say is his biggest thing. But I'll let him speak for it on himself. Is there some stuff you would like to mention? I'd really like you to cover everything you want to mention. I'm not even going to ask you about it because I really don't know much other than what I use. So can you cover some detailed stuff about him?
We got into this years ago. Originally, we was just doing videos. We had no idea it was going to blow up to what it did. But we got into it just because there was just a lack of what I thought needed to be out there. And kind of got forced into it. What we try to do is we don't like wasted materials. We don't like field materials. We don't mark up at a high percentage so we can wholesale. We want to put all our money in the quality materials. That money that we could mark up at wholesale, we want to put that into a better quality material. And what that means at the end of the year, you're going to have less failures. Nothing's cut proof. Anybody ever tells you that, they're lying to you. But I want my $100 vest to be fail the least out of all $100 vests, if that makes sense. I want my $200 vest to be the best you can make for $200, and we do that with what we call no wasted materials. We don't put filler materials in our vest.
Can you cover what that is, please?
Well, so Kevlar is expensive. So you'll see a lot of people put no Kevlar, 1 layer Kevlar, 2 layers of Kevlar. Our top end vest, we put triple Kevlar in, and we actually put multiple different types of Kevlar, and we have a custom Kevlar made for us. There's a lot of things going on that would take hours to explain, but different Kevlars work on different tusks and work better or at a higher percentage. So we put multiple types of Kevlar in the vest, not just one type. But what we call field layers, Kevlar is expensive, like I said earlier. So what sometimes will happen is to get that extra layer, you'll put a field layer, which is, instead of paying $30 a layer, it costs $5 a layer. If I would do that, it would allow me to, one, or sell my vest cheaper, or two, I could sell them at the same price and wholesale more. It would open up a lot of things, but it would cause 2, 3, 4, I don't know what the number is, that more vests would fail. So instead of putting that third layer of a field material, and I'm just using our top end vest on this example, I want to put another layer of Kevlar because it's the hardest to cut through for the weight. So that's how we approach stuff. It hurts us because it's hard for us to wholesale. It hurts us because it makes it harder to give away stuff, but it helps us because when people get them, they have a very high success rate. They have a insanely low failure rate, and it makes more customers come back to us in the end, and that's what we're looking to do. We want to put you in the best possible vest for that dollar figure.
Yes, yeah, and I do got a question in here real quick. What, for everybody out there that already heard me talk about, you contact him, get the custom. I don't want to open the door for everybody to just start blowing up your phone or anything like that. Now, I'm not saying that would happen. I'm not trying to say we're this huge, everybody's going to start freaking out and coming to you. That's not what I'm trying to say. But how is the best way for them to reach out to you regarding what they want?
So, I really suggest looking on our website, which is hardcorehogdogs.com, because there's so many options. And when I go to telling you all this stuff on the phone, you're not going to know. If you've seen a picture of it, you're going to understand what I'm talking about, if that makes sense. But in the end, yeah, call me. The number on the website is my personal number. We have lots of sewers. I do not sew the vest. I hire sewers. But what I do is try to talk to everybody and make sure, once again, we make 35 stock models. We sell thousands of vests a year. About half of them are stock. The other half are custom. And we try to figure out, I try when I'm talking to you, because you may not like one vest we make and you may love the other one we make. That's why we have to make so many different ones. So I try to feel you out and figure out which ones are going to be to your liking and suit the way you hunt, the type of dogs you hunt, and the weight versus strength versus flexibility that you want to be at. And when I can kind of get that figured out, most of the time I can get you in something you're going to be really, really happy with. And that, like I said, I got to talk to you, but if you can look on the website and read the descriptions and get an idea of what you want, then I can fine tune that for sure.
Yes. And guys, with the way he just said that, that is 100% true. This ain't no made up bullshit he's trying to feed. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I personally have reached out to him being a beginner. Guys, a beginner. I think, I don't even know if I hit a year yet when I finally reached out to him. Like I said, I'm not going to badmouth anybody else. Any other reputable brands out there, there's plenty of them. But he was the one to actually help me. Personally, he had it made in a timely manner. He informed me of some things he had to offer. I told him, I said, well, I run 2 collars. I run a telemetry and a Garmin. It wasn't even a question. He was like, boom, done. I told him I wanted these specific rear flank protections. Boom, done. He sent me all the measurements, everything before. He did question me, though, guys. I'm going to tell you, he said, man, that seems kind of long on that dog. I said, I'm telling you, I think this is the right measurement. And I sent it to him, and he was like, well, I guess. Because he said, he's intelligent when he's talking about what should be put on the dog. Because he was right when he asked me that. Most people ain't going to go out there and be like, well, that probably shouldn't be right. They're just going to do what you put down. And sometimes it might not be right, but he actually questioned it, and he was right on it. And then Guys, I can go on and on and on all day about how thankful I am for what he's made happen. The custom cut collars, being able to put a Garmin and a telemetry on it. I don't know if you're running triple collars. You could probably get buckles put on it. You could probably get name tags put on it. I'm sure they can probably do whatever you want. And if I'm wrong, Mr. Michael, do you mind letting them know that there's some things you can't do? But
there is a few things, but 99% of it, like I said, we built a lot of vests. We built a vest for a cat one time.
Oh my goodness.
And that's a true story. Now it wasn't for hog hunting. It was for, this has been years ago. I think it was for birds or something. I don't know, but they wanted it built, so we built it. But no, I mean, seriously, we specialize in making lightweight, tough vests. But if a guy comes to me and he says he wants, and this has happened multiple times, I want it completely covered in seat belt. My statement is going to be seatbelt is not worth the weight to toughness ratio, in my opinion. But if you want seatbelt, we'll build it for you. There's lots of trends and fads that go around there, and I'm going to tell you my opinion one time, and if you insist on going a certain way, like I said, if you're happy, we're happy.
Okay, so you did stay in their seatbelt material, and I about interrupted you, but I let you finish it. And I guys, I'm sorry. I want to let everybody know we're about maybe halfway, 3/4 of the way through this. I'm nervous, man. We got a lot of followers, guys. We're 9 countries right now. We have thousands of followers, or thousands of listeners, by the way. 98% last time I checked are not followers. Please follow it. But that has nothing to do with what I was about to ask. The weather conditions. Now, when you and I talked, I think my last custom vest I ordered from you was the SS long suit. And I told you, I'm hunting in southeast Texas, southwest Louisiana, and everybody that hunts in these areas, it's hot. And you pointed me in the right direction. Now, I don't know if you want to cover the Viper barrier, and I'm not going to cover it for you because I know what you told me. But can you cover that a little bit?
The Viper was in the T-Rex. The SS, we might have custom built it with a chest, maybe Viper chest plate in it. I'd have to look at your order to get exact on it.
Yeah.
The SS vest, which stands for Southern Style, but we shortened it so there wouldn't be confusion. Is the lightest weight line we build. And it's a really strong line, but it's the weight of a gosh darn blue jeans. Now the T-Rex, which I think is the one that had the first one you got, that's made to be as strong as that. Strength is the highest priority. It's still a medium weight vest. It's very light considering what it is, but
yes, sir.
Compared to the SS, it's heavier. Though once again, we don't want to use wasted material. So the T-Rex vest, we took the Kevlar cannot be on the outside. Me and you talked about that. Yeah. So we have to surround it, and it don't matter if it's me or any other company. So what everybody does is put some type of Condor nylon type material on the outside. We researched this is probably 10 years ago, found a custom sew machine that could take and allow the Viper cloth to be put against the dog, thus getting rid of the weakest layer in any standard vest and replacing it with the second strongest material. It made the T-Rex is an unreal vest. It is a medium weight vest, but it has the strength of the strongest vest being made. And like I said, the SS Extreme is what I run. That's a triple Kevlar vest. It's not as strong as the T-Rex, but I like it because it's just so darn lightweight. The dog can move in it, and we're in South Louisiana, so it gets hot. So we're chasing every little ounce we can and doing things to try to keep the dogs as cool as possible.
Yeah. So another thing. That, gosh, I could go on all day with. I really want you to cover all this for new guys. Guys, when I'm telling you I was new into this, and I wish I reached out to him a long time ago. But he also informed me I was interested in a vest that would completely, cover the back. as well, guys. When we're talking about keeping dogs cooler, that was a little discrepancy. He's like, no, you don't necessarily need this. Let me fix it for you this way. So he'll inform you of why not to, but he will do it if you want it done.
We build closed back vests. There is no stock vest on my website is closed back. As my general rule, I'm against it. The odds of your dog overheating is much higher than the odds of him getting cut on the back. It does happen, but it's about percentages, just like breeding is about percentages. So I would rather have the back open and lower that percentage than try to protect that back. Then all the heat's being held in, and it's just hard for it to escape. But once again, we get customers that's dead set on having closed back, and if they are, and that's what they want, we'll build it for them.
Yes, sir. And I'm telling y'all, he will. Y'all reach out to this man. I'm telling y'all, and let him know you listen to the podcast. I'd highly appreciate it, guys. This is going to be one of our supporters that we mentioned when we start putting our little supporter thing in the beginning, guys.
So let's do this. Look, what we'll do, just to have some fun, the week that this podcast comes out, if anybody calls me and said they heard about me on your podcast, we'll knock $20 off of that vest as kind of like a little show promotion for that week that it comes out.
Okay. Yes, sir. So, hey, y'all hear that? So, everybody, listen. I'm gonna tag him in it, message him on Facebook, whatever the case may be. $20 off a vest. That's good money. Y'all can find $100 vests on his site and pay $80.
Yeah. And so that some of those vests, not all of them, some of them at that $20 off will be at cost.
Okay. So y'all are hearing that straight from the man himself. Now, guys, I know we're in. I'm going to continue to have him on here. Maybe we'll do some more promotionals. This is him, and I didn't even know he was going to do this for everybody. Now, maybe we'll have some more promotionals in the future. But guys, help me out, please. I'm trying to get this guy some good business that he deserves because he's doing it the right way. Now, reach out to him. Let him know that. I know right now is not the best time with deer season coming up and everything. It's going to be probably pretty hard for your wives to accept you to go spend some money. But guess what? Do it, man. Go buy a damn vest. Message them. Even if you don't want the $20 off and it ends up being later, that's fine. It's not a big deal, guys. He's a great guy. Now, we're gonna jump off that. Is there anything else you would like to cover, regarding Hardcore Hog Dogs or your? I'm sorry, I forgot what the other one was, but
yeah. So we're going to be doing a few things. The website does need to be updated. It's 30-something pages, I believe. I've lost track of it over the years, but I wish everybody would check it out for sure. I haven't been there.
Hold up. I lost you again. Hello? You're coming back slowly.
I'm not sure why.
There you go. You're good now.
Okay.
20 pages is where, or 30 pages or whatever is where we lost you.
So, yeah, I would like to get everybody to check out the website for sure. It's running around that 30 pages of gear now. But we've got all the social medias. I've kind of stayed away from this because people's been on me about doing more video, like serious videos, not just this stuff we post on social media. They've been on us about a podcast, but we've got some people coming in that's making it hard to say no. But make a long story short, we're going to be releasing on our YouTube page the first DVD we ever made. So that's going to be, I think, 13 hunts that we're going to release. We've sold that for 20 years. So if anybody would want to see some good hunting footage, see what got us started, definitely check out our YouTube page. And roughly in about a month, we're going to start releasing those hunts from the first DVD we ever made on the YouTube channel.
Okay. Y'all hear that now. Go like, subscribe, whatever. I'm not on the YouTube yet, y'all. I've been blown up about trying to get on YouTube. I just haven't done it yet. I'm sorry, guys. I will try. But please get in on his page, on even his personal Facebook. Go ahead and add him.
Yeah, we're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I hate TikTok. We had 80,000 followers, and they got rid of us like that. I think it was 60 or 80,000. I really don't remember what it was, but enough to make you mad. Same way with YouTube. We that first account blew up. It was there for 5-6 years, and one day it was gone. So that's really why I've avoided. Like I said, I've kind of avoided it, but it's getting harder to avoid. Because it drives me crazy that with a flick of a switch, some guy just randomly can turn off.
You there? Hello?
I don't know why it's still.
Oh, there, we're good.
Yeah. Where did I lose you?
You're
going to have to edit it.
No, I know. I got you. I'll just leave it in there. It makes more character into it. But, no, you just said we don't really lose you for long at all. It's just for like a split second.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I got good. It's saying I got good service.
Yeah, I do too. I don't know. Shoot. But they, you were saying, the what? The flip of a switch on, sorry. Yeah, I knew he said like that on the social media.
Yeah, I've been aggravated.
Goodness, we lost you again. Hello?
Can you hear me?
You're coming back slowly.
I don't know why.
All right, now I got you again.
Yeah, I don't know why I don't know, but yeah, like I said, I've tried to avoid them, but still got some people really pushing to do it, and so I think we're gonna dip our toe back into it. Like I said, it just drives me crazy.
Hold on one sec. We're losing you again. Hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
You hear me?
I got you clear now.
Do you want to call me back, or are you going to try to keep doing it?
No, we'll keep going. Are you... I got perfect service. I've
got 3 bars. Let me...
Can you hear me?
Yeah. How is it now?
I got you pretty good now.
All right. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. Like I said, we're going to go back to some of that YouTube. I'm not going to do too much on TikTok. We do a little, but like I was telling you, it just drives me crazy that with a flip of a switch, they can ruin a year's, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years worth of work.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I've heard a lot of bad stuff about. Not necessarily. I don't. I know when they do the monetization stuff, you could be doing really great and have all these followers, and then just randomly get screwed because they decide to, I guess, monetize a video. And
I don't know. It's got to have something to do with that, because I can tell you every time we start getting paid is usually when you have trouble.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's why I've already been offered to be monetized on. When did we get offered to be monetized? Day 8 or something. We were on 8 days of this podcast, and guys, that's how passionate I am about this. I didn't accept the monetization. I mean, I can, but it required y'all to listen to like ads. I don't remember everything, all the details into it, but we were already, and I'm not talking it up, guys. Just I'm thankful for the good Lord blessing us with this to give y'all information. I do not want to be that cocky, arrogant person like, oh, look, we made it happen. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to bring y'all information and just everybody information. Now, that monetization, I did not accept it. So I want y'all to know that I'm not sitting here making y'all listen to ads. If there's an ad, it's from me, and it's from somebody that is giving me the permission to run their company on it, because I don't really know how to do sponsors on a podcast, guys. I've covered that. I've had people reach out that are interested in it, but I just feel wrong for even charging anybody just to listen to your name get dropped on a on a podcast. Now, if I ask y'all to help me out with the future tournament we got planned, by the way, I ain't saying nothing anytime right now, but a future tournament we got planned, I would like for some people to reach out and help a little bit. But yeah, I know what you're saying about I guess not monetization, but what you're going through, because Justin Becker himself out of Florida, I know he went through a rough time with that as well.
Yeah, and like I said, we had, like this has been a few years back, but every video we had released, which we wasn't releasing a lot because I didn't understand YouTube back then, we was using it to promote the DVDs and the business. We was approaching it that way, but I think everyone but one had over 1 million views, and it just took off. Now, when they deleted the account and we remade it, it never took off at that same rate. It never even got close. So we done everything the same, but truth is, people had saw those videos already, so
they didn't want to watch it again.
Yeah, I can't blame them.
Yeah. No, I know what you're talking about. Trust me, because I mean, I've seen some and I'm like, yeah, I really don't want to watch it again. Then I feel bad because I'm like, man, there's a reason they're reposting that hog hunt. And I mean, I'm sure there's other people out there that are getting paid for videos, but you say there was most definitely people before you, but I got to give you the recognition, and this is where I go into the passion, guys. When I say this guy, I said I'd cover it a little bit, is like my passion towards running hog dogs and dogs in general is because he took the step that clearly, in my opinion, guys, it's an opinion, I took the step to do this, and a lot of people have reached out to me like, man, being a year and a half in, what you've dropped is phenomenal, it's awesome, it's great. You know, I'm putting words in people's mouth that probably aren't even true, but I'm saying they did say that to me, but not in those exact words is what I'm getting at. Now, he took time out of his life, not knowing if it would make it. He was just having fun and decided to go forward with it. And then that's when I was like, I got a list, guys, of people I look at in the hog world. And I told him earlier, you know, Mike Colley is number one for me. And I'll be honest, I'm not sitting here trying to sugarcoat shit. And
Mike's a good guy. Me and Mike only live about 20 minutes apart.
Yeah. And Mr. Michael Spiehler, he was my number two because how much time and effort he has put into these videos and everything. But I'm sorry, I don't want people to hear this on the podcast in a bad way. I don't take this the wrong way, but I knew about you way before I knew about Hardcore Hog Dogs. I don't want you to take that the wrong way, or the hardcorehogdog.com. I knew about your videos and everything out there, but I didn't know you had a page selling cut gear. I'm not trying to be rude. I told myself I'd mention that to you in the podcast, kind of, you know, to let you know that I was like, man, I knew about his videos, and then I found out about Hardcore Hog Dog.
And that's probably bad business on me, but when we started making the videos, they weren't about us. Like I said, we got complaints about them because we didn't talk. We wanted it to be about the baying and catching and that footage that once again, this is a different time. You can see the footage we done 20 years ago any day now, just go through social media. But when we come up with that idea 20 years ago, you couldn't turn it on. You was just starting to have the big deer hunting revolution where it was hitting mainstream TV and you had your mossy oaks and real trees.
Yeah.
And, but nobody was putting any hog dog stuff out there that showed the bays and catches. They had a few guys that were talking, and there would be some bushes with a hog bait in the bushes, and they'd send the dogs in there and go in there and kill him, but you wouldn't see the catch or you wouldn't see the bay. So when we set out for it, it was about the catch and bay, and people liked it, and it took off.
Yeah. I mean, I just wanted to throw that out there for everybody. By the way, I mean, you might have, and a lot of people know who HardcoreHogDog.com is now, or Hardcore Hog Dogs, period. Now that social media has taken where it's been. So, guys, please, like he said earlier, I'm going to mention again, y'all, $20 off that week this drops. Now, I get it, deer season's coming up. A lot of y'all ain't going to want to spend money. Just do it. Don't think about it. Just do it. Now, Mr. Michael, Got a few more questions for you. Is there anything else you really want to cover that we've talked about? Maybe strike another conversation about anything? I want to bring you on again. I do. I don't want to hold this up to the 2-hour range again. We're not ending it, but I just want to know if there's anything you'd like to touch on, shout outs, anything.
No, I understand. And like I said, you've supported us. We're definitely going to support you. And come on here and help you out any way we can. And I'm a hard person to get in touch with. We'll make it happen. I was lucky when we started this, and this is a shout out. I had a pile of people come and help us and work with us and help us hunt, help us film, do all kind of stuff. Too many to mention, but there is a few I will like to mention. Only one of them hunt with me anymore. They all got married, had kids and stuff. But I mean, they were a big part of why all this took off, if that makes sense. And when we didn't have no money, to pay people, they come and tag us and done a lot for us. And there's a friend of mine here in town named Craig Lee has done a bunch for me and helped me out over the years. A good friend of mine also had run the camera for me for years, and heck, went to Uncle Earl's, helped us sell when we was growing, named Jim O'Berry, super good guy, helped us out for years. Another guy that run the camera, same thing, helped us out, come to shows, done whatever he could, named Dennis Ducote. And then the last guy is one of my best friends that I still hunt with. We cross these dogs together and breed the same way and so on. Named Jay Hicks. We actually met during Katrina, and it's weird how things work out. About time I decided I was going to do this, me and him met because we got hit hard during Katrina, and that was 20 years ago because they just had the anniversary. But me and him met, both liked hunting. He run his own business, so he could take off anytime and go travel and hunt, and we've been all over this country chasing hogs. So those four guys, along with the others, but especially those four, this business probably wouldn't be possible without those guys. They helped us out a good bit, and I did want to make sure to mention them.
I like that. I do. I really do. Guys, I'm telling y'all, the shout-out side, I've started doing that, but it's not necessarily shout-outs. Anything you'd like to say, guys, I want to mention, man, I've had people reach out to me like, hey, can you talk to one of them people they shouted out? Or I've had a shout out, actually only 2 shout outs that were shout outs, and they reached out and were like, hey man, I really like what you're doing. I like the direction you're going. I'm not trying to toot my own horn. Y'all clearly know where I'm trying to go with this. We're getting a little bit more we're going up. We're not staying clear down at the beginning level. I'm trying to get some answers that clearly I don't know, but even maybe seasoned level hunters don't know. So with all them shout outs that Mr. Michael shared, guys, reach out to Mr. Michael, let him know you heard it. Hey man, what did this guy do? Just reach out to him, have a conversation, something like that. Don't blow his phone up with some stupid stuff. Hey, can I buy your best dog? Come on now, guys. We all know that if you're buying someone's quote unquote best dog, it's definitely not their best dog. I want to cover that, Mr. Michael. I like that you did that shout out the way you did. I think it was very professional, and that's the kind of stuff we're looking for here. Now we're coming. Like I said, we're not done. We're just coming closer towards the end. A few more things that I'd really like to ask you is one of them, the most memorable hunt you've ever had. I don't want to hear the best one. I don't want to hear about your funniest one, where I just had the best time ever. I want to hear your most memorable. It doesn't matter if you even caught a hog. I just want to hear the most memorable hunt you've got.
I don't know if there's a most memorable one. Gosh, we've been on some insane hunts, and a lot of good ones, and some that just went god awful. But we've had some that we've caught lots of hogs. Heck, we had a hunt last year we done for a tournament that was probably the best tournament hunt I've ever had. There's a lot of good ones. We had a blast when we was younger hunting in public land in the marsh. my buddy Jade I mentioned earlier, and all those guys I mentioned earlier, they was all hunting with us still that time, and we'd pile up, and back then we just had my dogs, and if Jay come down, his dogs, and we'd go out there, and that marsh had not been hit hard yet. It was a new refuge at Hope, and so you have a lot of 20-25 day hogs. And it was torture work, but it was just a blast because we was all hanging out. We had big cookouts every night. We'd hunt 6-7 hours, and then we'd come home and skin hogs for 4 or 5 hours, and family would come over and cook. My wife's grandpa, my dad, different people would come over and work with us and help us out, and we would have big 5-day hunts all the time. Those were some good hunts, but to pick a specific one, man, I could probably name you 100 of them.
No, I understand. Can you tell us one of them then? Just name one that.
I mean, there's a lot of
hog-wise, how many you caught? Just one of them.
I guess that place in Columbia, like I said, we lost count. I don't know how many hogs we caught that day. It had to be close to 50. We've had some good hunts. I went with Rex. I've had some good hunts with him in Texas. I tell you, the hunts are one thing, but the people we've met doing this, look, I'm real lucky. I get to do this and make money. And it's been real good to my family. I've got a wife that has supported me and never questioned me about it. She goes hunting with me, runs a lot of the business. You can't get a better wife than I got. But the people that we've met over the years, the great people, and with this, you're going to do the same thing. It is just unreal. Too many people's names I forgot, but I can remember their faces. That's probably, I won't name a hunt, but I'll say that's probably been the best thing about it, is the people we've met.
I like that. That's a good answer. I mean, shoot, I like that. I haven't really had that answer, I don't think, yet, but that's...
go a step farther. That's the great thing about Earl's. Yes, we sell stuff there, but
yeah,
that's my favorite part about it. That's where I met you. That's where I met Kenneth and them. That's where, there's a big group of guys up through there that we've become friends with from going to that show, and then, all the people travel in, of course, too.
Oh, yeah.
Man, that is a wonderful week. It's work for us, and you saw what we have to go through, but it's still it's great to be there and see all those people.
Guys, and if y'all don't buy it, this week when y'all see them if you end up going to the show, remember this. Remember this podcast, the first one, and let them know, hey, I heard you on this podcast. It was coming up deer season. I didn't want to buy anything because, whatever the case may be. But let them know you heard it. It don't matter if it's within this week, guys. I would like for y'all to reach out to them and let them know where you heard them talking to me at. That is the support side, guys. Let's support. Y'all want to hear these? I'm not asking you to pay me. I'm not asking you to pay anybody. I'm just asking, reach out to them and let them know you heard it. Now, if you if you want to support, go ahead and buy something from them and let them know you heard it from here, guys. That's the support I'm asking for. I could be doing the monetized stuff, but I'm not. I'm trying to do this for everybody out there listening.
And that's one thing I think we've got to be better as a sport or as a group of hunters is supporting people when they get into the different things. And what I say about that is, if you don't bay dogs, you still should go to Uncle Earl's. Everybody should go to Uncle Earl's. Jake and them put on a ridiculously good show there. It's unreal. Tusker's magazine, them guys has been fighting and putting out a magazine for years now.
And they keep it going.
Yes, and the woods competitions, if you don't compete in them, just to go hang out and weigh in. It don't matter if you win. You try to win, of course, but man, the weigh-ins are the best part. You go there and bullcrap with everybody, and it's all hunters that do the same thing you do. Mm-hmm. The bay pen guys are there, but most of them hunt, and then when you're at Uncle Earl's, it's thousands of hunters just walking around talking. So all those, we need to, as a group, to support those people.
Yes, and I'm in agreement with that, man. I've been guilty of, and I felt bad because I've separated the bay pen world from the. I honestly don't even care that I say that. I'm not trying to be rude, but there was a separation there, and I'm guilty of it because I would say bay pen versus woods dogs, but there is a separation there. There is a huge difference.
No, it's two different sports, but it's the same passion.
Yeah, but I was the unintelligent one because I was new to it, guys. So be careful with your wording especially if you're new to it, coming in saying I don't want to be a bay pinner because they just bark at a hog. There's some athleticism that is in that as well. From a dog side.
Yes, so it's different. It's not the same, but those top dogs do that at such a high level, it is still hard to comprehend.
Yeah.
They do what they do at such a high level. Like I said, it is hard to comprehend.
Yes. Yeah. And if you want to get into the bay pen world, guys, y'all know where to go. Uncle Earl's is clearly it. I do got one. Gosh dang it! I meant to mention this in the beginning. There's a huge. Nobody asked me to do this. I'm doing it out of my own kindness of my heart. If you made it this deep into the podcast, but correct me if I'm wrong on this, Michael, please. The Ocumugli one coming up in Georgia for the kids.
Yeah, so
can you please enlighten the listeners on that? And please, let's.
You're talking about the one in January, huh? Late January. You're talking about the competition, not a bay pen.
Yeah, I believe. Don't quote us on this. Let's just go with where we think it is.
The one I'm talking about is the competition. It's the last weekend in January, I think. I could be wrong on that. The guys at Bars and Broads and Dixie Doggers are putting it on. They've been putting on another one for 2, 3, 4 years. And I haven't been to it. The land we have over there has been night vision, but we might go to this one just to show support because of the calls.
Yeah, I love it.
And and everything I've heard is those guys put on a good competition. Yeah. People, especially anybody on the East Coast, they should be checking into that and supporting it because it ain't, like I said, I'm sure if them guys come on, they'll tell you exactly, but it's going to a good cause. It's not going in their pocket.
Yes.
It's going to help out some children's organization or something.
Kids, guys. I can't tell you how many views we've had lately, guys. We're talking about supporting children. I know I'm getting off a little bit on where this podcast is supposed to go, and I don't want y'all to get bored with it. This is the stuff I promote, man. I was a foster kid when I was younger. I'm not going to get into a real sad spiel. I think this is helping more or less kids with illnesses and stuff. But my biggest thing is supporting children. I can't promote it enough, guys. I absolutely cannot. And I'll get more information regarding it. But please, guys, reach out, even to myself. And look, I will make an appearance. I will be there. If there's somebody that says, hey, Alan, I got some hunting land down in Georgia, my dogs don't have a damn idea what's going on in Georgia, but I will load up 15 to 20 head of dogs, and I'll head there, and I'll be on your team. Maybe we can get some sponsors and get the tournament paid for it, like through my sponsors, and even if we got to come out of pocket a little bit, that's not a big deal. If somebody would want me even on their team, that's fine. I'll come join you. I'm debating on just doing it myself with my wife. So guys, please, don't even worry about winning the shit. Even Mr. Kenneth talked about the time he didn't even think he was going to win it against 30-some amount of people. He won it. So guys, please keep that on your minds. That's something I'm really looking forward to. I didn't mean to really get off track. While we're on these announcements, screw it. I don't care that I got off track. Do you want to talk about it, Mr. Michael?
You never know what's going to win on them things. A perfect example is a hunt last year. We all got together and we got there, and there was 7 of us. It was that wanted to hunt it, and there was a 6-man team, so we split into 2 teams. Well, we ended up getting our butts kicked, but the other team had a pretty good hunt, but it wasn't a stringer that we thought could win. The conversation was this: hey, go weigh in, you might can finish 3rd. They won the whole thing. Everybody had bad hunts. The stringer we had would have placed 4th. I mean, and it shouldn't have been in. We wasn't even thinking about weighing in. But I mean, that was our conversation. Go weigh in. We're going to hang out there anyway. Maybe you can get a 3rd, and they won the whole thing. We won the Dingler hunt 2 years ago. They had a stringer back then, so we hunted the marsh just to win. We knew we could win the stringer. Showed up there and won the whole thing with a 200-pound average. I think it was 206, which should never win. It just people have bad hunts, and sometimes you catch big old stringers and still get whipped, and sometimes you don't even think you're going to place and do. But getting back to the original point, the hanging out and camaraderie of them things are just great. That should be just as important as winning. Yes,
guys. And that's where I met some of these people that I brought on. Man, is these tournaments. I'm very thankful for what I have done in the tournament community and what I've been able to catch. Especially even in Oklahoma, man, that was one of my best trips ever. But unfortunately, we had to leave right away. So there was a lot of, they're sore losers, guys. And don't be that. Do not be that sore loser. We witnessed it at a tournament. And I don't care if you're listening to this. I don't care if you don't ever listen to one of my podcasts again. But what happened at the Syndic Kennels hog tournament was completely disrespect. It's an embarrassment to go there to a family event. They were offering food, door prizes. I mean, they were giving everything away, but just because somebody didn't get the certain place they wanted, and I think it was like 3rd place, I don't remember exactly, you had to act in a negative way. That is completely unacceptable, man. This is a family event, guys. You're not making a living whether you got 2nd or 3rd place, and you're going to make a huge deal out of it. And I was willing to give up, we won it, and I was willing to give up our 1st place position because I didn't want the negativity there. I was like, man, I could care less if we won it. I just come here, I met a lot of great people. We hunted, and we won it by a long shot. I'm not being cocky, but and a majority of them was using thermals and stuff. So we hunted our ass off. We barely slept, and it was rough because they had a truck of 3 guys, and it was just my wife and I. So we were trading back and forth. So I'm getting off topic, but what I'm saying is keep the unity there, man. Y'all are there. Y'all are hog hunters, man. Shit, I guarantee if y'all met each other at some work site, y'all would have great conversations. But just because it was a tournament dealing, y'all got in a little bit of a discrepancy. Let's not have that. It's just absolutely annoying.
And if you're that concerned about it, they got some with lie detector tests. Go to those.
Yeah.
I mean, you read the rules and go to those. We've had good luck at both of them. We've heck, I believe I figured it up about 2 years ago, and we definitely had a higher percentage of winning or placing at the ones that had lie detector tests. But it seems to keep everybody a little straighter. But yes. But I mean, some of the best ones we've been to, like I said, are some backyard ones that people was just having fun.
Yeah.
And talking friendly junk and trash to each other.
Yes. Yeah, in the first 2, because I've won 3, and the first 2 I won were, they required lie detector, and then Oklahoma, of course, did not. And I know you've won, trust me, 50 times the amount I have. I'm not trying to talk up, but I'm just saying from a newcomer's experience, the lie detector ones are the ones I respect a lot more, because I mean, really, in their right mind, who's going to go out there and do some bullshit cheating and have the audacity to go take a lie detector? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And like I said, it is a little bit of a catch-22 for me, and it will be for you. I think, like I said, I figured it up. I think out of, it was either 15 or 20 competitions we placed in all but one or two. It's been 2 or 3 years when I figured it up, that had lie detector tests. Like, it was drastically higher.
Yeah.
The ones without lie detector tests, we placed in about half of them. But lie detector tests do have about a 7% failure rate, false positive rate. So anybody with like a business and like me and you's got, you take them tests and please, you know you're straight, but you're wanting to make sure you pass them. And we took about 20 of them and passed them all. But it does seem the ones with the tests, the hogs are a little bit smaller at those for sure.
Yeah.
And you've seen a lot of the ones that didn't have tests come around. Just about everyone in Louisiana now has a lie detector test that I can think of. Maybe one or two small ones, but they all do. So it makes really competitive competitions. And them are fun when they're competitive.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean,
the one they had at Earl's, not at Earl's, but the weekend before Earl's. I went to because we was up there at Earl's. I didn't compete in it. There was 1 pound difference between first and second.
That was me. I lost by 1 pound.
Okay.
By the way, just to let all y'all know that bullshit. I'm not.
Yeah.
No, I'm not complaining. It was a great one, but yeah, we lost by 1 pound.
Yeah, that sucks. But I mean, heck, somebody's got to be on the winning end, and somebody's got to be on the losing end.
Man, I'm telling you, my ass was so chapped about that one. I think it was my second tournament I ever hunted in. And man, my wife busted her ass. Gosh damn it, we went out on a 1.28 mile bay. And she was sitting on a rooftop, guys. I got to tell this story. She was sitting on a damn rooftop. She's here with me. She sat on a roof. A guy invited us to his property and said, "Hey, man, I got hogs out here." I said, "Well, shit, I might as well run them." And we did. We went there, and gosh damn, we was there for every bit of 3 to 4 hours. And I was like, God, these plots are going to finish it eventually. Shit. And they did all sorts of laps. And we get there, and he was 284.8. 284.8 is what that hog weighed. Well, he ended up unfortunately not making it. And he was bait up in he got caught in water. Like, I was hip deep going to him, and I had to pull him out. My wife was there, and freaking how deep?
Like a little 3-foot island.
Yeah, it was like a little trunk island, like a tree trunk island. It was just maybe on a cypress knee top. I don't know, but I had him tied up and everything, and I mean, I guess as long as they ran him, man, he fell out. Funny thing about all this, so tie him up, whatever, he don't make it, no big deal. He didn't make it to the weigh-in, so we had to weigh in like 100 and some pound hog. No big deal. We ended up coming down by 1 pound. So that 284.8, I believe, is what it weighed when we weighed it on a crane scale, not one of them bouncy bullshit circle scales. We weighed it on a crane scale. So yeah, we would have won it by a lot, but it just didn't work that way. But the funniest part is the amount of people that reached out to these landowners after that tournament were like, "Is Alan really coming there with like 1 to 2 dogs and actually hunting?" I was like, man, this is because multiple landowners started reaching out to me. They're like, "Hey, people are calling us to see if you're actually bringing dogs out to our properties and hunting." I was like, I was mind blown by that.
Yeah.
I was like, that is kind of disrespectful. People are questioning whether I'm actually going out and catching these hogs. And then it was, "Oh, you're catching them, but you're using 2 dogs. And then one of the landowners said, no, he only used 1 dog. And then that guy was like, you know how the discrepancies go. It's just annoying. It's very, don't be that guy is all I got to say. I was like, man, it kind of blew my mind. So tournament settings, there is that little bit of drama, guys. I try to stay out of it. I really don't care. And actually, one of the tournaments, man, shout out to Josh Scott and Eric Mealy. I didn't know how to suture a dog. One of my plot hounds, my female plot, she was one of my top dogs out here. She unfortunately didn't make it, but at a tournament, they taught me how to suture a dog, and I can't tell you how many people's dogs have I. Well, my wife probably don't even know either, but I can't tell you how many people's dogs I've sutured since that because I learned from somebody at a tournament.
Yeah, and that is something that new hunters. I wish there was some type of how-to video, but I don't know legally
how you can do it.
But yeah, that would be very vital. We, like I said, my dad is next best thing to a vet, and then I have a really good vet in Loosedale at Magnolia Animal Clinic that is unreal, and so I've been lucky and always had access to that stuff and was taught that stuff at a young age. But somebody getting into it, it would be nice to be able to just look up on YouTube and learn that stuff and be able to, save a dog. But I mean, if it gets to that point that you're that scared, you spend the money and go to a vet. Especially, you got to take care of the dogs.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, we covered a lot of that, guys. I want to get into the camaraderie a little bit. I like that we did. We're most definitely getting towards the end, Mr. Michael. We're coming up on 2 hours now, which I don't mind. Shit, I don't like nothing scripted. I want to have some future, talks. I most definitely want to keep in touch and keep talking. But I got a couple more final questions. And we're going to try to just stay on these if we potentially can. So I don't want people to start getting bored at this point.
That's right.
But your favorite dog of all time, it doesn't have to be a hog dog. It doesn't have to be a hunting dog. It could be your couch dog. What is and you have to pick one. Mr. Mike even did it for me. You got to pick one.
The favorite dog I owned was that Jim dog. Like I said, he was a once in a lifetime dog. I mean, heck, people still talk about that dog, but he could make some holes for sure. Had a kind of a personality. Real tough dog, big dog, bigger dog than I normally run. But he was a special dog. There was a dog named Bucket that Jay had. It was the real deal too. Both of them dogs were fun to hunt with. But as far as the one I like, of course, it's going to be the one I own because that one's going to be special to me.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. So y'all heard it first. Mr. Michael's favorite dog, which is part of that +2 is what you said they are.
Yep.
Yeah. So everybody out there, if anybody listens to this, hashtag +2, tag me in it. I don't care. Tag Mr. Michael in it. Let us know that you heard that hashtag +2. Now, last one ever in history. Right now, what would you want every single person in this world to know you for? Hog hunting related, by the way. Sorry.
Yeah. Man, the real answer is probably kind of sarcastic or not what people want to, but I'm not that type of person. I like I said, when I made these videos, I didn't care if people knew my name. A lot of people don't know my name. They still call us hardcore. But, I've always enjoyed this because of the people you meet and being able to hunt with my family. Still, my funnest hunts is when me and my wife hunts with me all the time. So she's always with me. I have that one in a million wife. But when me and the wife and the kids and one or two close friends get together, them are great hunts. If they remember them, that's great. As far as a specific thing, there's nothing. I'm just like everybody else. I love to do it, and that's what we do. But I guess family and being able to take people, being a good friend, I guess would be the answer.
Hey, that's a good answer, guys. I'm telling you, I don't want everybody to say, well, I want them to know I was a hog hunter. I want these different answers. Those are the final 3 questions I always ask everybody, and I think people on the podcast are starting to catch that. Man, Mr. Michael, I've appreciated this talk with you. I'm definitely going to have you on again. Guys, it's hard to get this man on. Shit. It might be 3 days for I get a text back from him. No. I know he's a busy man. He does respond, most definitely. If you're trying to get gear, he's very quick on the response. Give him some space. Guys, don't be reaching out at freaking midnight expecting him to respond to you right away now. With that being said, Mr. Michael, is there anything else you really want to cover? I think we did. I love this podcast. I think we did great on covering a huge majority of different things.
No, I think we covered everything. Yeah, I mean, and I'm good if you're good.
I am. I do want to bring you back on in the future. I do. We got to get on here and talk more story stuff. Like I said right now, I'm letting all the listeners know as well. We're still live, guys. I'm gonna try to get every one of these guys back on here and talk more storyline wise, but I want to get more information and get you to kind of know the type of person they are. So in the future, you know who you're listening to. If you don't want to listen to that person, you don't have to. I'm not telling you to listen to every one of my podcasts, but when I first got into it, like I tell everybody, this is something I wanted to listen to. I wish I had a timeline of a podcast like this one is, or that my intentions are of this one. I could be wrong. It might not turn out that way, but these are my intentions and what I'm trying to do. So, with that being said, Mr. Michael, if you got nothing else, I'm good for tonight, sir.
Okay, no problem. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your time, and I'll reach back out to you.
Thanks, bud.
Bye. That wraps up today's journey on Tusks and Tails. From the woods to the kennels and every trail in between, these stories bind us together. Thanks for listening, and until next time, may your dogs run true and your fire never fade.